Hi, I'm Mark Cleghorn and welcome to Pose-Tober on the Photographer Academy, and we're looking at boudoir photography and how you can add different ideas into your session to either spice it up or just to add more variety. So every day on the Academy, we're adding one new image in for you, and you can check up here on our YouTube channel to kind of see the same content, but obviously our members get it ahead of time. But the Pose-Tober series is focused obviously on boudoir photography and their kind of how-to, so I'll explain the poses step by step. We can also look at why to add them in, perhaps into your sessions to add that variety. But I'm sure that during the 31 ideas that we're giving you during the course of the month, you're going to be able to take it away, whether it's classic, creative, different moods and styles, different body shapes. You'll be able to actually add in the different kind of styles, as I said. So my pose 24 is the 50 Shades body stretch. Very, very similar to poses that we've seen in the past, which is the floor lay and the sensual stretch. But with this particular pose, we're emphasizing or given the implied element of bondage, and why I kind of refer to it as the 50 Shades stretch is obviously the films and the books were so kind of out there around the world that it brought this kind of darkness, this more erotica into the kind of the forefront. And let's face it, that some of your clients will want a little bit more of that. So basically laying on the back, or the client could be standing, stretching the arms up right above the head, and the legs out, not quite fully, because we always want a slightly bent knee, of course. But this will kind of then give us an implied bondage element, and with an emphasis onto the expression of the face, this erotica kind of relaxed but in control kind of body and facial look as well with it. I've seen other photographers actually add in props. In fact, one of the photographic studios I mentor, they use this kind of pose. They're an all-female team, but they kind of introduce furry handcuffs into the client's hands and everything else with it and things. So it's amazing how you can kind of take even this simple pose into that next level. So for me, stretching the hands above the head, even though they're slightly apart or the wrist kind of coming together, they can be with a slight kind of ribbon tie if that's what you want, but very, very loose. It's a good way to kind of shoot as well, whether you're looking for a little bit more implied, so in other words, a little bit more see-through. You've just got to watch at times that you don't get nipple slip like in this image, where the kind of the laciness of the bralette is just allowing the actual boob to come above that. So obviously just telling the client, just cover up your right boob a little bit, and they'll kind of correct that themselves. So it's not going to stop the session flow. It can even add to the variety of images as they're adjusting things. But here, the kind of where we've kind of elongated the body, I still want that kind of lay-in arch, so that raised space between the middle of the back and the bed. And remember, to do that, we just need to really make sure that the buttocks are not too far away from the actual shoulders, or push the shoulders down towards the buttock line more, so it's kind of almost pulling the client up from the middle of their torso. When I'm doing this image, I like to give the implied erotica more, so cropping of the image like we're seeing here. So I'm not seeing the feet, but it could imply that the feet are bound as well. I like to have the knees apart. Why? Because it just gives that sensual erotica kind of feeling. Remember, we're into this kind of emphasis element, this kind of little bit more edgier element to our images in boudoir. So just separating the knee there, but photograph from the head kind of down towards the body, and instead of kind of shooting this on the kind of the bed eye view, as it were, where you're shooting along the line of the actual the mattress, come up at a 45-degree angle and shoot from the head down towards actually the body line. This image is really good as well if you're shooting from above down, so this kind of flat lay or bird's eye image when we're looking down on the subject. But don't be afraid to kind of crop off a little bit of the hands and the feet and everything else in the end image if you don't want to show that there is bondage, or there is no bondage being used. So For me, Pose 24, the 50 Shades body stretch, a development on the sensual stretch. It's laying on the back or standing up, stretching the arms up fully and the legs down fully, giving the implied bondage, but with the emphasis on the expression and making sure that the client looks like they're in control. If you'd like to see some more content on the Photographer Academy, simply go over to thephotographeracademy.com. And if it's boudoir photography you're interested in, just scroll onto portrait, then kind of scroll down to boudoir, click onto that, and you'll see a whole host of different kind of topics for you to actually click onto. And any of the orange banners then takes you to the pages where you can actually follow that through to see more of our content.